Hello and welcome to a new episode of EU Decoded, a podcast by the EPP Group in the European Parliament. As geopolitical tensions rise and technological change accelerates, Europe is being forced to rethink how it protects its borders, its economy and its citizens. So this week, the European Parliament debated new migration rules, the future of trade relations with the United States and China, Russian provocations in the Baltic region and Romania, the growing impact of social media on children's well-being, and Europe's next steps on artificial intelligence. So here are the key takeaways from Strasbourg. The week kicked off with a debate on the EU-US Framework Agreement on Tariffs, better known as the Turnberry Deal. The EPP Group supports the agreement as the best way to ease transatlantic trade tensions and to provide greater certainty for European businesses and workers. MEP Zeliana Zovko says the deal should be seen not only as an economic agreement, but as a strategic decision that protects jobs, strengthens industry, and reinforces the transatlantic partnership.
Strong alliances require trust, reciprocity, and a vision. Europe and America must continue to move forward together, not only as allies, but as partners shaping the future together. The transatlantic relationship is not only about economics. It's about values, jobs, strategic resilience, and our ability to act together in an increasingly competitive world. But today, our partnership is being tested not only by geopolitical challenges, but also by economic uncertainty. At a time when industries on both sides of the Atlantic are under pressure, thousands of jobs are at stake, and our citizens expect leadership and responsibility.
The European Parliament approved the Turnberry Deal this week, and although it may not be perfect, the EPP Group believes it is the right agreement at the right time. At a moment of growing global uncertainty, it offers businesses greater predictability, helps avoid a damaging trade conflict, and preserves one of Europe's most important economic partnerships. But while relations with the United States remain a priority, Europe is also reassessing its economic relationship with China. The EU currently runs a trade deficit with China of around €1 billion every day. The EPP Group supports free trade, but insists that it must be fair trade. Chinese state subsidies and industrial overcapacity are flooding European markets with Chinese products and putting growing pressure on European companies.
China ist ein schwieriger Partner. Das spüren wir hier im Europäischen Parlament, aber vor allen Dingen spüren das unsere Unternehmen zu Hause.
China is a difficult partner, says MEP Angelika Niebler, and reminds us that China depends on access to the EU's market of 450 million consumers. For the EPP Group, the way forward is clear. Openness must be matched by fairness and trade must be based on reciprocity. From trade and the economy, we turn now to security. We are witnessing continuous Russian provocations along the EU's borders. The latest incident occurred in Romania, where a Russian drone struck a residential building. Foreign drone violations have been reported in the Baltic states, while other incidents have involved incursions into the territorial waters of EU countries. Whether by air or by sea, these incidents are part of a broader pattern of Russian provocations, and Europe must tackle the root cause of these incidents, says MEP Pekka Toveri.
Russia is the fault here. And since the war is not going well for Russia, these incidents and provocations towards Russia's neighbours will increase. Russia can't win the Ukrainian battlefield, therefore Putin tries to kill as many Ukrainian civilians as possible and destroy as many cultural sites as possible, as we have seen this week. And if some EU citizens get caught in the crossfire, he couldn't care less. So we need to end the war in Ukraine as soon as possible. Russia is weakening, its supporters like China are already distancing themselves from the failing dictator, and even President Trump's administration starts to see that Putin doesn't have any cards left. So now it's not time to hold back, now it's time to support Ukraine more.
The EPP Group believes Europe must stop tolerating Russian provocations and respond with greater resolve. As Russia intensifies airspace violations, drone threats, sabotage operations, disinformation campaigns and GPS jamming, Europe must strengthen the protection of its borders and critical infrastructure, boost its counter-drone capabilities, and deepen cooperation with Ukraine. Security was also at the centre of this week's debate on migration. Last week, the new Migration Pact entered into force. This week, the European Parliament gave its final approval to the Returns Regulation, the last major building block of the pact, designed to restore control over migration through more effective returns of people who have no legal right to remain in the EU.
C'est la fin de plusieurs décennies d'impuissance face à l'immigration illégale et de 8 longues années de blocage dans la révision de la directive.
This marks the end of several decades of powerlessness in the face of illegal migration, according to MEP François Bellamy. Today, only 1 in 5 return decisions issued in the European Union is effectively enforced. The remaining 4 out of 5 migrants ordered to leave stay in the EU instead of being returned. The new rules strengthen the consequences for those who refuse to cooperate with return procedures, reduce the risk of migrants disappearing during the process, and expand the use of detention and entry bans where necessary. They also create a clear legal framework for return hubs in third countries, with the aim of making returns faster and more effective. Children across Europe are spending more time on social media, and we must ask what impact this has on their mental health. Too many minors are exposed daily to harmful content, addictive platform designs, and cyberbullying. Social media companies must take greater responsibility and ensure that age limits are properly enforced. But age limits alone can't solve the problem. MEP Pablo Arias Echeverria warns that today it is no longer users who seek content, it is content that seeks users.
Debemos actuar y debemos hacerlo sin caer en falsas soluciones, ni la autorregulación de las plataformas que siempre...
He adds that Europe needs a balanced, effective and proportionate response that protects children without depriving them of the opportunities offered by the digital world. But beyond social media use and well-being, there is another alarming threat targeting children online. Criminal networks are increasingly recruiting minors through social platforms and messaging apps. They exploit them for drug and weapons trafficking, money laundering and violent crime, effectively using children as disposable labour to avoid detection and prosecution. MEP Lena Dupont warns of the scale of this trend.
So you can quite bluntly say that we have organized crime structures using minors and children in order to circumvent not only prosecution, but also then, of course, using children as part of their network, instrumentalizing minors for their purposes. We see radicalized, even terroristic groups using minors in order to carry out attacks. And of course, we see a mixture when we speak about third country influence that also has a stake in there, so to say. So overall, I think the picture is rather clear. It is a worrying trend that we need to address.
According to Europol, minors are now involved in more than 70% of criminal markets. Recruitment relies on sophisticated psychological grooming, often through online platforms, including gaming environments. So what can the EU do about it?
First and foremost, of course, is there are 2 files coming up where we want to have it addressed by the Commission so that we can work on it. One is the Europol, the revision of the Europol mandate, where also there are tools in there which we can use. Second thing is, of course, there is a proposal coming up on the revision of the definition of organized crime, where it also can feature into one of, feature into the instruments that we propose also at European level. Of course, we have the DSA that can and needs to be strengthened also in that sense, because we see that the overall recruitment of children is mainly done online via messenger, via games actually, so communication channels via games, but all other digital tools at hand. So we need to address that specifically there as well. And of course, there's the action plan of the Commission coming up, which specifically focuses on the protection of children against the use by criminal groups. And there, of course, we want to see a comprehensive approach of combining the instruments I was just shortly mentioning.
What may sound like a dystopian scenario is already a reality for too many families across Europe. For the EPP Group, protecting children online and offline remains a clear political priority. While still on the digital agenda, the European Parliament has now approved the agreement with member states on simplifying and postponing parts of the new AI rules. The aim is to give European companies more time to adapt and reduce overlapping regulatory obligations. MEP Abba Kokolari explains the details.
The European Parliament has just voted in favour to pause and to simplify Europe's AI rules, which means that the AI rules in Europe will be more workable, simple to follow, and we're cutting bureaucracy and red tape for European startups and scale-ups.
Beyond making compliance easier for businesses, the agreement also introduces an important safeguard: a ban on AI systems that generate nude images of identifiable individuals, including the exploitation of child sexual abuse material.
We're making also AI more safer. We're adding a ban on AI systems that are nudifying identifiable persons and child pornography. 1 year ago, when I was part of initiating the pause of the AI Act, nobody believed it. But 1 year later, we've showed that Europe can be fast and that we actually can deliver on making it easier to build AI in Europe.
The EPP Group has consistently called for simpler, more workable AI rules that support innovation while maintaining strong safeguards. This agreement, they say, is a step in that direction. The European Parliament also witnessed a powerful and deeply symbolic moment this week: the visit of Andrzej Poczobut, Sakharov Prize laureate, and a man the Lukashenko regime couldn't break. He spent 10 years behind bars as a political prisoner in Belarus.
Sytuacja na Białorusi jest niezwykle trudna. Ja bym powiedział, że Białoruś dzisiaj bez 5 minut jest państwem totalitarnym.
He describes the situation in Belarus as extremely difficult, saying the country has effectively become a totalitarian state. While some political prisoners have been released following diplomatic contacts with the United States, he warns that arrests continue and that fear remains deeply rooted in Belarusian society. He also stresses the importance of a clear message from Europe to Belarusian citizens, one that distinguishes the people from the regime. MEP Andrzej Halicki praised his courage in defending freedom of expression, human rights, and the rights of the Polish minority in Belarus.
Wolność słowa, prawa obywatelskie, upamiętnianie swojej tożsamości, historii, praca na rzecz polskiej mniejszości na Białorusi. No to wszystko, co cechuje odwagę, bohaterstwo Andrzeja Poczobuta.
For many across Europe and beyond, Andrzej Poczobut has become a symbol of resilience and courage in the defence of press freedom, freedom of conscience, and the right to express political views. As he put it, democracy only succeeds when it reaches out to the oppressed societies.
Demokracja zwycięża tylko w jednym wypadku, jeżeli ona naciera, jeżeli ona wychodzi z ofertą do zniewolonych społeczeństw.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of EU Decoded. This week in Strasbourg once again showed how interconnected Europe's challenges are, from economic competitiveness and technological sovereignty to security, migration, and the defence of fundamental rights. As these debates continue to evolve, we will keep bringing you the key moments from the European Parliament. Thanks for listening. Until next time, goodbye.